From a nutritionist perspective, what do you see perhaps the main challenges that we face? And I suppose coming back to our conversation before we started recording, why is the industry perhaps not understanding and addressing the issues as impactfully as they could?
Well, I think the first thing to say is when you do the qualitative research, which is the interviews, what you realize is that sometimes data can give you this generalized impression, whereas once you do the qualitative interviews, you see that actually you can't generalize about, so typically I think people say, oh, it's the typical construction worker's
Mm.
diet, which I'm sure you've heard
Bacon
people
sarnies every
say.
Friday, and yeah, we eat a fry up for breakfast every day.
Well, actually, the reality is quite
Mm.
different. I mean, those days, because this was now again, probably 10 years ago, there were quite a few Eastern European workers at that point and from different countries. And so it's very patchy. But people with a tradition of making food and bringing it in and all the rest of it, you could see that actually the so-called healthy diet, they were doing
Mm.
that. Some of the other workers, skilled workers, British skilled workers in those days, they tended to be a little bit more patchy with what they were eating. But the main issue actually then was sugar. So it
Yeah.
was how much sugar people were putting away in things like Monster
Yeah.
drinks and cups of tea,
I see
obviously.
people drinking pints of orange juice in the glass bottle still to this day. And I mean, that's probably twice the recommended amount of sugar in one day that some of them can have, but they still perceive that as the healthy option.
One person had clocked up something like 38 teaspoons of sugar through Monster drinks and other
Mm.
drinks, tea. And so, yeah. So, I mean, and of course, it does have an impact on blood sugar, the way that the energy is stabilized throughout the day, things like concentration. And if, of course, you're working at height and you've got your blood sugar wobbling all over the place, your concentration probably isn't the best. And sometimes people not eating anything, but drinking those sugary drinks, so
Yeah.
yeah. But it was patchy because you got another element of workers who were using their bodies